business show, we or I talk about real estate stuff, as you know, and we cover other things as well. And I thought, I'm going to expand stuff a little bit. And so I invited one of my favorite people in the whole world, Laura Berger, who is with Coldwell Banker. We work in the same office together. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Good. We just thought, we're going to talk to you guys about stuff because we have similar values. We work similar with, oh, geez, sorry, guys. Uh, we work in a similar fashion, and we wanted to share some things with you just from a real estate perspective. So, one of the things that's been hitting the news right now is there's this big lawsuit that's going on. And we thought, let's get on and talk about this a little bit. And, you can always follow up with questions later on, and we will answer them. And I will give you Laura's contact information as well. So, do you want to tell everybody kind of what's going on?
Yeah. Lately, Tom, there have been people, past clients, friends of mine that come up to me and say, Laura, I'm really worried about you. Is everything okay? I've been hearing about this lawsuit. Are you going to be all right? And I just sit back and smile and I say, yeah, I'm going to be just fine. And they, but the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, these different publications put out there is not always what's exactly the truth. And the truth of the matter is nothing has been settled by any means on any of these lawsuits. But the two big topics are, the first one is a lawsuit in Missouri where it's a class action, they're all class action lawsuits. These folks feel that they paid too much when they sold their home through certain years in the earlier 20s. And because they didn't realize they had to pay the buyer's agent, and they didn't realize that the commission was negotiable. Well, I don't know what they do in Missouri, but I can tell you here in Minnesota, we're playing by the book, baby. I mean, it shows right in there. This is the commission, and it's something we write in. It's not hardcore. I do different commission rates depending what the situation is. Everything is negotiable in this world, and I tell you what, if you don't go down and try to negotiate the purchase of your car, you're crazy. And that's the second most expensive purchase you'll ever make in your life. Again, we're talking about the sellers here. This has always been negotiable, and they feel like they shouldn't have paid the buyer's agent's portion of the commission through the sale of their home and their proceeds.
Right.
The other lawsuit is starting up here in Illinois. Buyers are putting together a lawsuit indicating that they felt they overpaid for their homes when their buyer's agent's commission came from the sale of their home. The reality is this has been going on for 30 years. This is how we do real estate, and it protects the buyers for having representation. The seller would never have that money if the buyer didn't come to the table with a realtor. It's been a really good working machine. We'll see what is going to become of it. But my personal opinion, this is not fact, but from what I read in Inman News and all these other things, is that fintech, financial technology companies being backed by more securities, they're investors, guys. They're just investors, and they want a piece of the real estate pie.
Right.
They're the ones backing this. They're the ones that are getting people under the skin of jurors and all that because they want to eliminate realtors. And the reality is people need representation. They don't know what their rights are. It's going to be the wild, wild west. And we have standards as realtors. We have responsibility in our codes of ethics. And if we don't, we're fined. We are punished in a sense if we don't abide by the rules that we set forth for our organization. And so if you take away this representation, I don't know. It's people will be lawsuit after lawsuit for every home transaction.
Well, and in all fairness, I think I want to clarify a few issues for people. Number one, we are a state that has a buyer representation contract in the same way that we have a listing representation contract. And we always sit down with all of our people and explain to them, if I'm a seller or I'm representing a seller, that you're paying this commission out. Let's say it's 6%. And of that 6%, 55% stays with my company and 45% goes to the buyer agent and their brokerage. So I get a piece of that whole pie, but I don't get the whole 6%. But I sit down with every client, as I know you do too, and explain this. And when we're on the other side of the fence, I say, look, there's a 300 or 575 broker admin fee that goes right to Coldwell Banker. All of the brokerages charge this. I said, I don't see any of that. And other than that, you owe me no other money because I get paid by the seller as part of that 6% payout. And I think what's partially happening, to your point, is you got these investors. I mean, for a while there, Walmart wanted to sell houses. Look, buying a house is never going to be like ordering a pair of shoes on Amazon, and they're trying to turn it into that. When in reality, my value or Laura's value for you has nothing to do with finding you a house. It's keeping you out of trouble through the whole process. And I think there's some people out there that are pissed because they overpaid for a house and now they're looking to figure out how to get some of that money back. And I can't tell you how many times I told clients myself, don't, if you go over this price, you're making a mistake. But all we can do is educate, offer our opinion, and that's the best we can do. So this lawsuit probably had to come to light because there are so many states, like Laura was saying, that don't have these clear representation lines. But I also think it's no different than any other professional. Do you want to go to a doctor that really knows what they're doing, who's going to sit down and explain everything to you with your medical situation? Or do you want someone who's just going to fly through and do it for you because they happen to be a little bit less? Or look, if you spend 10,000 hours or more on something, you should be pretty damn good at it. But there's a lot of people in our industry, unfortunately, that they're in it just literally for the money, and they're going to take what they can get, and they're not going to represent you properly. So this isn't a pitch to sell you guys on calling us and having us represent you. I just wanted to have Laura on because she's very well versed in this issue among many others, to just give you guys some insight as to what's going on in the market.
Yeah, that representation part of it is, it's buying a house is not like ordering a pair of shoes off of Amazon. There are so many delicate what's the word I'm trying to say?
Intricate, maybe?
Intricacies of it, that land use issues. What are your responsibilities as a seller for disclosing information? What things do you not have to disclose? These are things that we are educated on as realtors. We have only, and I mean only 15 hours of continuing education we need every year. And some people will do that and they'll sell maybe 2 homes a year.
Yeah.
The average realtor actually makes below the poverty level for their income for real estate, because it's a hobby for them. I don't want to go to a doctor who practices medicine as a hobby.
Right.
And I think this is sometimes where any industry gets tripped up by those who are not as professional, and it definitely, it's going to happen. But those of us who handle this as an occupation, and we take pride in that work that we do for home buyers and for the home sellers, these lawsuits are throwing a big wrench into it for a system that was working really well for many, many years. But why did this pop up? It's always money. Follow
It
the money.
always is, because there's a certain contingency online that basically what they do, just so you guys are aware, is they have all these houses listed for sale, but none of them are brokerages. So they're not a Coldwell Banker, they're not a Century 21 or Remax or anyone else that you're aware of. It's online services to show you homes for sale. What they want to do basically is try to take you, turn around and sell you back to us for a fee, and basically just take a chunk. It's no different than if you're, I don't know, you're painting houses and someone comes in and says, hey, I'm going to take 20% of what you own for no other reason than I just happened to send this house a postcard and found out that they needed to have their home painted, so we're referring it to you. And I don't mean to come across like I'm complaining. I'm just trying to tell all of you how this actually works. So Laura and myself and many of our other professionals that I work with, we care about this and we take pride in what we do, and we want to have this discussion with people. Everything is always negotiable, but we're always going to be upfront and tell you everything there is to know. And I think lots of times these people get on these teams and the team leader is not very good at teaching them anything to do the right thing, and you get these people, it's like Laura had said, it's like the wild west. So I just thought this would be a fun thing for Laura and I to do. Let us know if this is something that interests you, because I know if you're not buying or selling, most of these types of podcasts aren't going to be interesting to you. But for those of you that want to know what's going on in the market and want to know about protecting your equity and the different things that come along with home ownership, that's kind of why we're going to do this. And we'll try to be funny, even though we're not very funny. And
We try,
we'll
but
keep
one thing
entertaining.
is I wanted to add to that, Tom, is that nothing's going to happen fast. All of these lawsuits are going to be going to appellate courts. They're going to be debated, and like I said, my friends are coming up to me saying, "Are you okay?" I heard about
Mhm.
all this. Nothing's going to be changing. Nothing changes in this industry overnight necessarily.
Right.
So it's going to be a while. It's evolving. If anyone's telling you this is what happens in real estate, and then there's not going to be any more buyers agents. That's not the truth at all.
No.
There's
And you
lots of rumors out there that even realtors are saying it's not true. So be careful where you get your information.
right. And here's something that I think is really important. I want you to know why you want a buyer's agent. Think of it this way. If I have a house that's listed and my fiduciary responsibility is to that seller, then you want your own representation that's got a fiduciary responsibility to you as a buyer. If you don't have that, that's no different than, going to find an attorney because you're being sued, and you hire the same attorney that's already representing the person who's suing you. No one would ever do that. So before they try and tell you that it's better for you as a buyer and it's better and you're going to get a better deal, no, the only thing that happens is more often than not, they end up in this situation where they are simply, um, making more money.
And they have the best interest of the seller.
Yeah, totally. So there you go. That's our 2 cents. And you guys have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble. And that's all I got.
This has been fun. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tom. Maybe I'll do it again.
absolutely.